This is the 4AM UTC broadcast of the BBC in East Africa, and it's actually coming in here in Southern California at maybe an S7, S8. Pretty strong.
Sometimes use a technique called roof knocking, where there's a smaller ordnance that is dispatched, causes an explosion, and then people understand to stay clear.
Like a warning shot, basically, yeah?
Yes, indeed. But we even go further than that in our respect for human life, and we call the specific people who are in the area. We have the intelligence, we have the numbers of people in the vicinity, and call and communicate and state our intentions that this is a military target, it is going to come down because it belongs to Hamas and it supports Hamas's activity, and that we order them to stay clear.
And this is, are you saying that this is why we haven't heard reports of casualties associated directly with the collapse of the tower block?
Correct. That is exactly why, because we are trying and doing our utmost to minimize the amount of non-combatants that are affected by the fighting, which is of course in total flip image of what Hamas and Islamic Jihad are doing. They are purposely trying to kill our civilians. We are defending against those attacks.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on and having your say as well. Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus, international spokesperson for the Israeli military. Obviously, we're having a look at all sides of the argument throughout the program. You'll be hearing from Ramallah in about an hour's time on the show, and also we're going to be talking about the situation in some of the cities in Israel, extreme trouble in, for example, the city of Lod, mixed city in Israeli Arabs there and Israeli Jews at loggerheads, it would appear, with a state of emergency declared for the first time in 1966 in those situations. So we're going to be talking about this, our top story, throughout the program.
Now, later this month, it is the 100th anniversary of the worst race massacre in American history. It happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the centenary will be marked with a series of events, including a memorial service to commemorate those who lost their lives and livelihoods. A new book called The Groundbreaking The Tulsa Race Massacre and an American City Search for Justice has been written by the historian Scott Ellsworth. It's been published to coincide with the anniversary, and our arts correspondent Rebecca Jones has been talking to him.
I heard about bodies floating down the Arkansas River. I heard of machine guns, airplanes bombing. There's no question this is the worst single incident of racial violence in U.S. history. You had more than 35 square blocks that were absolutely leveled. Just a wasteland of destroyed buildings, of charred brick, of lifeless blackened trees.
Scott Ellsworth was born and raised in Tulsa. He spent more than 4 decades investigating the horrific events of 1921, when a white mob went on the rampage in the prosperous black neighborhood of Greenwood. Dozens, if not hundreds, were killed. Within 16 hours, the area had been obliterated.
More than 1,000 African-American homes and businesses were looted and burned to the ground by a white mob, numbering into thousands, who were assisted by the white members of the Tulsa Police Department, National Guard troops too.
The spark for the riot was an incident in a lift between a young black man and a young white woman. On the screen, he was arrested. She didn't press charges. But that didn't stop thousands of white people taking the law into their own hands.
Massacre, no discussion whatsoever. I think a lot of really bad things weren't discussed.
The parents of the forensic anthropologist Dr. Phoebe Stubblefield were born in Tulsa. Yet she knew nothing about the riot until the 1990s, when Scott Ellsworth approached her to help find the bodies of the victims. But it was not until last October that they found coffins and human remains. How can you be sure, though, that the remains that you have found are victims of the massacre?
If they consistently display either evidence of gunshot wounds or have bullets or lead scatter inside the area of the skeleton, that would be a good indicator because there are records for the individuals that should be buried there, the majority had died from gunshot wounds. And because of an autopsy, there's a good chance the bullets will still just be there if it was not a through and through. Those are the easiest clues.
The bodies will be exhumed next